Dog vs. Cheez is probably the biggest heavyweight matchup we've seen yet in the Classic Tetris Monthly Masters event, and it happened in the very first round of the July 2021 tournament. I'll be covering it first, along with several other amazing matchups in this month's recap. And if you want to see the full broadcasts, they're finally being uploaded to the official Monthly Tetris YouTube channel again, and will be linked in the description. So, let's begin. As is expected nowadays, the qualifying scoreboard required at least 2 amazing scores to get in, and despite the number 1 seed Pixelandy being unable to participate due to injuring his hand, there were still many amazing moments in the first round. The CTM layout was revamped by Vandweller to put an extra focus on webcams, which were now a requirement, allowing us to better see things like DeAsian's family members holding up signs. Tristo had one of the most Houdini-esque digs of all time. Peps made a statement by getting back-to-back maxes with Das in competition. Pokenerd, a new and up-and-coming roller, defeated Blank in a crazy close match that ended with him getting some ridiculous post-29 Tetrises in the final game. But the highlight match, of course, is Dog vs. Cheez. Dog, the reigning world champion, was only continuing to get better, with the first recorded 1.4 million by a tapper in the scene's history. And the rolling master Cheez, incredibly, had gotten his first public 1.4 million score in the scene's history during his qualifier for July. So why did he get paired up with Dog in the first round? Perhaps from the adrenaline of the moment, the highest score he reached throughout the rest of his qualifier was 847,000, achieved on the very last game, which gave him the most lopsided average of 2 scores ever, and placed him at 5th seed, right in the crosshairs of Dog at 12th seed, who had had a subpar qualifier by his own standards. But now that they were both in, that didn't matter anymore, and both of them knew the sky-high potential of the other. Going into the level 29 thrill screen in Game 1, Dog already has a 1.2 million score and over 200,000 point lead, but he knows there's no guarantee it's enough given Cheez's post-29 potential. Unfortunately, Cheez's internet started to sputter as the match started, meaning his game feed would often freeze for a few seconds and was now lagging significantly behind, displaying him all the way back on level 27. Dog burns a double, doesn't know how much he'll need, but will try to survive as long as he can. Cheez being 3 Tetrises behind in pace means he'll have to get at least 3 Tetrises past 29 now. Dog is continuing to burn, not going risky, just plopping squares in the left and center, and enters level 30. Dog throws a square to the left, even though it creates a hole, it's just by far the most reliable piece for the left, and it works. He's able to burn down, still skimming 169,000 point lead now, and takes another burn, and a flip with the long bar in the last moment makes a hang on the left. Even though he takes a burn, 5 high left is pretty much going to end the game unless he gets an L, and he's not getting it. But now Cheez has entered level 29 and has a Tetris set up, can't quite manage a tough piece sequence in the center, and gets the Tetris to enter level 30, but it's not enough. He's still 2.5 Tetrises short, and the stack is too messy, and Dog is waiting for Cheez's game feed to come back through on the delay, like, come on Cheez, don't you do it, don't you chase me down, don't you do it on 29, oh thank goodness. Game number 2, Cheez gets stuck on a dig on level 18 and can't overcome a few misdrops, and Dog takes a 2-0 lead. Game 3, Dog is about to enter level 29 and has an enormous 200,000 point lead again, but Cheez actually has a little over a Tetris pace margin because his game feed is so behind. Again, because of the internet. Dog enters level 29 to get 1.1 million. Cheez also bangs down a Tetris, but his feed is running at slideshow speed. Dog is setting up a double well and just burns it down, not going for a risky Tetris when he has a better chance of scoring by lining it out. Continually has the left built up high, and L piece ready, is able to slot in the L right as it comes. Cheez is having to do some burning here. That ate away all his pace margin, but he still has kill screen play he can bank on. And Dog again has no idea how much he might need. Continuing to play into level 31, not even a perfectly clean stack, but just waiting and knowing exactly which pieces he can afford to move where. A lot of flat placements, delayed burns, and meanwhile Cheez is continuing to burn. It's really hard, unfortunately, to see what his moves are because of the delay, but it looks like he's trying to keep it open, but still keeps having to cover the well. We'll need at least 80,000 points in the kill screen now as Dog pours it on. He's into level 32 now. He's getting S and Z bursted, but managing to make it work with his stack. He's ready for a J, skimming, and enters level 33 with that burn, gets an L all the way over to the left, and Cheez burns into level 29 and gets a level 29 Tetris that was lost in the pause of the game feed, is going to try and build up for more. His game streaming at less than a frame per second. He gets the burns to set up a Tetris, waiting on the long burn. It looks like he couldn't flip the long bar in time. unable to skim, and that's gonna do it. Cheez tops out, the game is won, but Dog isn't done. He's all the way on level 34. Gets the triple, Dog closes in on level 35. Cheez would have needed 5 Tetrises past 29 now to win, and Dog can't get an L vertically to the left, now has some tough holes, only chances L's to the left, and he gets an L over, skims, gets a piece to the right, waiting for more L's, there's another L, a long bar, and another L, and a square, and with that double he enters level 36. A long bar hang's gonna seal the end, but Dog jumps up in a victory celebration. Cheez put up a great fight in this set with 1.1 million in game 1 and a max out in game 3, but Dog was unbeatable. This is an all-time personal best for him on level reached, and to this day, good enough to get him 11th on the all-time leaderboard for highest level achieved ever. But Dog's day was only just beginning. Next up, he'd face Tristo in the top 8. At the end of game 1, Tristo has done amazing. Already has a max out, but Dog is incredibly 100,000 points ahead. Tristo unable to get a final Tetris, entering level 29. Game 1 goes to Dog, who's now also entered level 29, skims, and is set up for a Tetris, gonna see if he can get the long bar in time. There it is, and just manages to get it over in time for 1.2 million. Game 2, both players have max outs, or about dead even. Tristo tries to go aggressive, but can't fill out his left. Is going to get the Tetris too late, and that'll give game 2 to Dog, who keeps going, and with one line left before level 29, gets a final Tetris to get another 1.2 million, and isn't done yet. Goes for one more Tetris on level 30 and gets it with a Vits. Game 3, Tristo is playing as aggressive as he can. Already has 600,000 before transition, but is somehow still behind Dog in pace by 12,000 points. Tristo transitions, knowing he has to go pedal to the metal the whole post transition to have a chance. Dog is up so high at transition, but is going to take a double and get a skim and get the Tetris. Tristo is getting a little droughted and has to take another double. Makes a slight misdrop with an S piece and is going to have to take another safety double. Running out of time, has to block the well again and then plugs the long bar dependency, needs a 2 flat piece, and there's the long bar, but he can't get it over in time. Dog sweeps the match and would play out the rest of the game, getting another 1.2 million score with a Tetris on level 29 and playing all the way into level 31, capping off a crazy streak of 4 1.2 million scores in a row. Tristo, always being a good sport, wrote a congratulatory message. GG, what the heck, Dog. Scoring 1.2 million every single game makes you basically unbeatable. Or does it? Game 1 of the semis between Dog and Sidnev. Both players are well beyond a max out in level 26. Dog's got another 1.2 million pace brewing, but Sidnev has matched him the whole game, up by 1 Tetris and about dead even in pace. Sidnev knocks down another Tetris to take a 2 Tetris lead, and now Dog might have to get more aggressive than he's comfortable with. Needs to take some burns, trying to stabilize the left side, and creates a hole, waiting on the long bar, has to set up some more delayed burns. He gets the skim, waiting for a piece for the left, and gets the L over in a clutch hyper tap. He's open and waiting, he gets the Tetris, he looks over and Sidnev is playing just as aggressive, maintaining his lead, perfectly filling out the left, doesn't take a double and gets 2 Tetrises back to back for 1.2 million. Dog is still down 2 Tetrises going into level 28, he's running out of time. Probably gonna need that deep post 29 play now to win, and has a really unfortunate misdrop with a J piece. Dog tries to solve the board, but ends up in an uncomfortable spot and has to create a hole, which could cost him his final Tetris. And Dog is actually getting droughted with nowhere to burn and is going to top out. And Sidnev has entered level 29, gets an S spin, and gets a level 29 Tetris for 1.3 million points. Sidnev finishes with 1.345 million. He can't believe it. A score good enough to place him 14th on the all-time leaderboards, and he got it in competition. Dog could not keep up his 1.2 million streak in competition, but even if he had, it would not have been enough. Sidnev has done the impossible and taken a game off Dog. But, well, Dog would storm back with a vengeance. In game 2, Sidnev tops out at level 29 with just above a max out, and Dog enters level 29 with a mid 1.1 million. Gets a Tetris on level 29 for the 1.2 and battling it all the way out to level 34, where he fell one single short of getting his own 1.3, evening up the set. In game 3, Sidnev again had a max out into 29 but couldn't do much beyond that. In the meantime, Dog is again going ham and tries to set up Tetrises but gets too long bar dependent, has to settle for barely a 1.1 million. His lowest score of the tournament so far. In a pivotal game 4, Sidnev makes it to level 29 again, but a bunch of digs and burns means he's not close to a max out. Does the best he can, but Dog is 200,000 points ahead. He's not going to be able to chase that down. And meanwhile, Dog's going for another 1.2 million. Has a left wall Tetris set up, waiting for the long bar, takes the burns, and he's not going to be able to get it. Has to settle for 1.15 million. Wins the set 3-1 after getting 1.3 done in the first game, and is like, all right, okay, I'm in the finals again. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water. Okay, cool. And in the finals, Dog would face his final opponent, Eric ICX. Game 1 of the finals, Eric tops out early, giving Dog a 1-0 lead, and in Game 2, Dog is back to doing Dog things. Gets a 1.2 million again, barely needs any post-29 play for it. A couple burns will do. But in Game 3, Eric stays alive, throwing up a max out in a level 27, and Dog's board is not in the best shape, and he's way behind in the 800,000s. He plays super aggressive because he knows he has to, but doesn't get a Z-piece all the way over to the left. An 11 high left, that's going to be really tough, even for a fast hyper tapper, and Dog's not going to be able to do it. A disaster game, if you can call it that by Dog standards. He tops up with 868k on level 27. With the way he's been playing, it practically feels like an early top out for him. But Game 4, Dog shows no signs of nerves, throws up a 577k transition, and is over 6 Tetrises ahead. It's going to be a big uphill climb for Eric, and he'll do his best here. Going to get a 444k transition. He knows he has to play aggressive, but flies a little too close to the sun. Can't get the L piece over. Normally one of the best pieces for the left, but it's just a little bit too high, and Dog has done it! Another CTM Masters title to add to his bulging resume. Of course he's gonna play it out and see how far he can go. Gets a max out in the level 29. Gonna try and build up here, maybe set up. Oh, he's taking a few burns. Might be just going for lines, and if he can't get the square over, something like that would usually end the game, but he gets an L piece over. Not giving up another L would be great. He gets the bar to burn with. That'll buy him some time, but his board is split in the center. Can't wait any longer on the left. Can he pull off one more impossible post 29 dig? Burns with a T, somehow still getting lines, but that L hang's gonna do it. Dog settles for yet another level 30 as an encore, yet another title, username so long it shows up as Log playing Tetris on the trophy. And I genuinely think this tournament performance by Dog could be the best NES Tetris tournament performance of all time. Let's take a look at the numbers. In the 12 games in the tournament that Dog played to completion without intentionally ending his game early because of an opponent early top out, he averaged 1.16 million, higher than his qualifying average. He didn't score below 1.1 million until his final 2 games versus Eric. The kill screen was no object for him, as he made it to at least level 30 in 9 games, 75% of the time. And when he did make it to kill screen, he added an average of 48,000 points, nearly a Tetris and a half. As always, I talked to both of the finalists about their performances this month. Dog, congratulations on winning back-to-back months in the Classic Tetris Monthly. You had an incredible consistency, getting over 1.2 million in your first 5 complete games and over 1.1 million in your first 10. If you knew beforehand that you had to score 1.2 million to win a game, how difficult is that? Is it near the max that somebody might be able to realistically aim for in competition?
Well, okay, so I've actually never been that consistent in getting high scores ever, like even if I'm like PB hunting or something. And I think it's because in competition, my mindset is to just like take the burns, instead of making like a weird stack. And I think that actually results in better paces than, you know, like making weird stacks and having to burn a bunch. So I think that was the reason why I was getting so high scores. I don't think that I've ever aimed for like a really high scoring competition before. I just sort of play the game out and try not to have any bad pace games. You wrote some unusually large descriptions in a couple of your qualifier score submissions. Is there any particular story or reason behind that? This is honestly literally no reason other than I just felt like doing it. It's like, that's literally it. So you recently became the second player ever to get 1.4 million on video. How difficult was the process of getting it? Did you have any sessions where you specifically went for like a 1.4 pace every game? Or did you just do attempts when you were in the middle of a crazy pace and you decided to go for it? I think in that session, that was like one of my first games in the session, and I'm pretty sure my mindset was what I did in the competition, which was just like take the burns. And honestly, like I just got a good game going and I just sort of just played it out from there. Didn't get any like big droughts, stuff like that. And you know, the kill screen was, I've actually been practicing for kill screen for a while, and finally came into play in that game, and everything just sort of came together.
Is there anything special about the upcoming September 2021 Classic Tetris Brawl Championship?
It's actually a CTWC qualifier, which means that the winner will get a free entry to CWC, and I think it's been pretty hype. CTB championships have always had a bit of a different style than just a normal 1v1 tournament. We actually have 1v1v1s, or 3-player matches, round 1. I think those are really interesting to watch. Gonna have some great players in there as well, so definitely be interesting to see it unfold on September 12th.
So then you also have a merch store now. Do you have a favorite item from your own merch store?
I don't have it with me right now, but I think the one that I use most is my dog playing Tetris mug. It's definitely the most useful.
Thanks so much again for coming on for an interview. I'll have the links, of course, in the description to the Classic Tetris Brawl if you want to find out more info. Thanks again. Best of luck with your tournament and future competitions.
Yep, thank you.
Eric, thanks so much for coming on. So you've been on a hot streak, both online and in real life, with making the finals in the CTM and winning the Blanks Garage qualifier on back-to-back days. So how does playing online compare to playing in person? Is one easier than the other?
Oh, playing in person is way more fun by a long shot. There's just like so many more people there, and just like the atmosphere is like totally different from when you're playing online. I wouldn't say one is easier than the other, although probably for some people their setup at home is better than the one in person. And I suppose that could go both ways too. Pretty much the only thing I care about is the chair and whether or not I can see the pieces.
You had some crazy digs versus Nenu and Dog in the semifinals and finals. What was going through your mind during those digs? Was there anything that helped you stay focused?
It was pretty much just I'll either get the pieces or I won't get the pieces. There's like almost no in between, to be honest, when you're playing up that high.
So some people in the community weren't sure if you would learn rolling, since you're kind of known as the fast tapper, but your rolling progression has been on fire recently, as you just got a 29 PB with rolling and you started to use it on 29 in competition. So was there anything specific that encouraged you to learn rolling?
Well, I would say pretty much just Cheez's progression with rolling. Like he's a moderately fast tapper, and look at what he's been able to do with it. That was only part of it though. I wouldn't say I saw early, but I definitely saw that I had a lot more potential with rolling and tapping if I could learn it.
Do you think you might switch to full-on rolling in competition, or do you think a hybrid strategy is the best?
I think while I'm just like getting my consistency up, a hybrid strategy would be best. But like when I'm just like fully consistent with rolling, then yeah, I think I'll do full rolling, because I like it a lot better than tapping.
So you just uploaded a huge project to your channel, something that I know you've been working on for months, your Tetris June highlights video, going over all the major events that happened in the Tetris world in June. Was there a particular moment during the month that it really inspired you? It was like, oh, this is a video I could make?
Definitely the last week of June. Like, there was so much insane stuff that happened during the last week of June, like Cheez's 1.4 Tristop's DAS 1.3, and also the DES GM that happened in the last week of June too. That was the moment when I'm just like, oh yeah, this should be a video. This is going to be a historic month.
I definitely recommend everybody checking it out to give it a watch. It's done kind of in the same style as my CTM videos, but it's also got a lot of Eric's style in there as well. I know that like occasionally people will ask me, hey, can you make a video on this like more modern Tetris achievement? And I'm like, well, I don't really know much about that stuff. But you do, because you're somebody that plays modern Tetris and Tetris GM. So it was really cool for me to be able to watch that video and get to learn from your video. So I definitely really appreciated it. I hope you make more videos like it in the future, because it was really great.
Yeah, I'll try to.
All right, well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
So you may have noticed that this episode is kind of absurdly late. I've been busy over the past few months attending and filming several in-person Tetris qualifier events along with the Dr. Mario World Championships. And I'm also on the editing team for the Classic Tetris World Championships YouTube uploads for 2021, which I'm really excited for because they're going to be doing something a bit different this year. I've also had several big videos and collabs in the works. Unfortunately, doing all these projects and trying to do the monthly recaps at the same time has resulted in them falling further and further behind. So as a result, I'm going to put a pause on doing them again for a while. The August 2021 CTM finals featured Fractal and Sidnev, two players who hadn't made the finals before, and Fractal took it, winning his first CTM title and showing off his ability to change grips from tapping to rolling. Very well deserved and a long time coming. Congratulations to Fractal. And the winner of the September CTM is actually the topic of a future video, so I'll wait until then to comment on it. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.